So right now, Israel under alert as Iran fires at least 11 ballistic missiles, each with the ability to level an entire neighborhood and kill hundreds. Israel firing back at a military target in Iran and Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The first time strikes have been traded since the April ceasefire. And across Iran, student protesters erupting, the first sign of dissent since the internet blackout was lifted last month. An exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi says they won't give up their fight. His Chief of Staff, Khansarinia, joins us right now. Cameron, thanks so much for joining the program. I guess the big question is, are the people of Iran hoping that a deal can be struck, or do they want the kinetic strikes to begin again?
Well, good morning, and it's very good to be with you. The people of Iran want to be free. The people of Iran for 47 years have suffered under this radical Islamist regime that took their country, Iran, one of the oldest and greatest civilizations in the world, that introduced the concept of human rights and equality and dignity, where the women of Iran had the right to vote before the women of Switzerland in the 1960s and 70s. That's the Iran they want. And that's why in January, when they went to the streets for freedom, when 40,000 innocent protesters were slaughtered, they called on President Trump. They asked for his grace. They asked for his support, for his leadership. And he responded by killing the man who had oppressed the country for 30 years, Ali Khamenei, and they celebrated that. There were images not only of Iranians outside the country, but Iranians inside the country, of people dancing, cheering, passing out sweets that their dictator was dead. And President Trump was the first president in 47 years to do something about it. He was the first president to recognize this threat and to take action against it. And so, frankly, the people of Iran are fearful of a potential deal. They're quite worried because they fear that that will only empower their regime to continue oppressing them and to continue waging war on the region. We're seeing the results of this regime continuing to be in power right now. Its aggressive attacks on America's allies, on Iran's neighbors. So the people of Iran are hoping to be free, and they're fighting to be free.
So, Cameron, no one questions the spirit of the Iranian people. I mean, we saw 30,000 people with no guns get completely mowed down by the government. But they knew that that was a possibility, and they still stood up to protest. And we're seeing the same thing from these young people. What do you guys need for a fighting chance to take back your government?
It's a great question, and you're exactly right. Look, on the cusp of America's 250th anniversary, where we celebrate the patriots who fought for freedom, what we're seeing on the streets of Iran right now are patriots of just that amount of valor, just that amount of bravery, who aren't just asking for their liberties, they're fighting for it. And as you said, they're dying for it at mass number, and they're going to continue. So a few things that they need to succeed, the first of which is internet connectivity. You said in the intro to the program that the regime cut off the internet for nearly 100 days. Imagine 3 months of absolutely no internet connection. And the reason that the regime shut off the internet was because they were so frightened by what they saw on January 8th and 9th, when the prince called people into the streets where they chanted the name of Reza Pahlavi in every single one of Iran's 31 provinces. They knew that they were unpopular, but what they were so fearful of on January 8th and 9th was that an entire nation was rallying around an alternative to this regime. So the first thing that we need is internet connectivity. We need to ensure that the people of Iran can connect with one another and connect with the outside world. And the U.S. taxpayer doesn't need to pay for this. There are billions of Iranian frozen dollars across the world, and the U.S. government should use that frozen money to open up the internet and to ensure that the regime can never shut it down again.
Copy that. Sir, thank you so much for joining the program.
Thank you, sir.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.